What's up? How's it going? El Helluent and Rikar Omar. Welcome to the stream. Honestly, I got no agenda on the stream. I just figured I'd try to get back on the horse and keep on getting content out there. What's up, Yassine Ahmed? Juicy? Thoughts on low code? I think low code could be pretty useful. I haven't really used too many low code tools to like give you a solid opinion on it, but I think if you're just trying to build a simple website, I think low code tools can really expedite your process. I think AI also is trying to, like, AI makes coding UIs super simple as well. What's up, Needlebeard on Twitch? What's up, Guy? Azut? Icon, hello world. James. Andrade. Did I say it right? I'm bad with names. Suti, 1979. Good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. What do you think about vibe coding? I don't even know what that is. Thoughts on being a WordPress developer? It's hard to say. I mean, I haven't never done WordPress professionally, but I know a ton of websites are out there built with WordPress. And so knowing how to maintain and create WordPress sites and customize themes, I'm sure there's some type of market for getting a job there. But I would go and like look at Indeed.com and just look at like WordPress jobs. I think WordPress is pretty powerful. If you just want a really quick site and you want to like slap some plugins in there and get it working, like I played around with WordPress and I mean, it seems like it's really feature rich. How is it going? How was it going this week? You know, trying to fight burnout, honestly. If I'm being honest, I'm burned out on making content. I'm burned out on coding full time at my job. I'm burned out on making side projects. So I'm trying to push through the burnout. Maybe I'll get excited again. It ebbs and flows, you know. Sometimes you're excited about coding. Sometimes you're just like, need a break. Hey, happy to see you online. Forgot I had pinged you on Discord. Purchase your latest course, and I was inquiring about advanced courses. Yeah, I mean, I could try to make an advanced course. To me, making courses is just not, how do I say this? It's not a really good investment of my time. Like the amount of money I make from a course versus the amount of time I put into making a course, it's just not worth it to me. But I mean, if you guys find value from these courses I've been making, I don't have that many. I mean, I could try to make a more advanced one where I build out like a full stack application with like a database and get it deployed out there. Sorry, let me scroll back. Have you thought about how you might deal with .NET? Honestly, I haven't touched .NET, so I don't have thoughts on it. Victor, hey Cody, do you use AI autocompletion during the work? Yes, I do. I use AI and Cursor all the time. Guido Ratoli, yo yo yo. Emits, message retracted. This is a safe place. You can say what you need to say. You don't need to retract your messages. What's your take on JSTS for the backend? I think it works perfectly fine. I mean, I've built out a system in production with TypeScript. Well, we started with JavaScript and Node. It worked fine. I mean, it handles requests. I think maybe using something like Go might be a little bit more, what's the word, safe. But yeah, I mean, you can build whatever you can. I don't think a language matters, honestly. Like, I'm not a strong opinion on like you have to pick a certain language. Like, learn a language, understand its nuances, get good at it, write tests, and like it's gonna work. All right. Hey, I think in this market, being a generalist full stack isn't enough, and one needs to specialize to stand out. So how to choose what to specialize in? I don't know about that. I mean, I consider myself a full stack engineer. I think full stack engineers are very valuable because you can give them any task on your backlog and they're going to figure out how to get it done. Versus if you only have like a person who does front end stuff and there's a bunch of back end work that needs to be done, like, what are you going to do? Tell him, like, okay, just twiddle your thumbs until you get a front end task? No, he needs to go and do the work. So I think being full stack is very valuable at a company. I think you do need some specialists. Like, it's always good to have people who can go deep into the details of, I don't know, configuring like a Postgres database or double checking the security of various API endpoints and like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. VLT on top. I don't know what that means, but welcome to the stream. Weaver LED, how to teach SQL to a 3-year-old. I can barely teach SQL to you guys. I can't teach it to a 3-year-old. Guy, where to find good roadmaps for full stack AI development? Is my sound on? Where do you find a good roadmap for full stack and AI development? I'm not sure what you mean by AI development. But there's a roadmap. Let me see if I find that roadmap. Isn't it like roadmap.sh? Go to roadmap.sh. Let me bring this down. You should check out this roadmap.sh. If you want to become like full stack engineer, you can click it. They give you a guide of like what you should learn. I think it's pretty cool. I think the site's pretty cool, but honestly, my best advice is just think about something you want to build and just like push forward towards that goal. Sorry, I'm super slow at getting through chat because I actually like responding to everybody. So I know there's like 1,000 chat messages. In additional question, if you don't mind, I was planning to share your resources to my team view background. Would the purchase be different given it would be multiple people? I mean, personally, I don't care. Just like if you want to just let them log into your account and view the videos, that's fine. Just they don't have to do separate purchases if you don't want. If not, then go on my last video. I have a coupon code for 50% off they could use if they want to support me and my channel. That'll be pretty nice. But I understand there's some people watching from India. Like someone reached out and he's like, hey, your course is kind of expensive. I can't afford it. And I'm like, okay, what could you afford? And he's like, well, right now my rent is $70 a month. So, and my course is like $60. I'm like, dude, it's hard to like sell a course to people who like aren't making, like, I guess my idea is like my courses are gold. Like I'm trying to focus on selling to the United States audience first, and then I'll slowly bring down the price. Have you tried Drizzle V1 beta? Honestly, I don't know. I think I'm doing like version like .4 or something. I hope you go outside a little bit. I mean, what's there to do outside? It's either too cold or too hot outside, you know? I try not to use AI because it makes me lazy. To what extent do you think I should use AI? Sometimes I do 70% of a project with the help of AI. I think as long as you understand the code AI is writing, I think it's fine to use AI. The moment you start accepting stuff and you're like, I don't know what this does, but let's just ship it, that's when you are going to run into issues. But I wouldn't call it lazy. At this point, using AI is becoming proficient. Like, you want to become an effective developer, and that's why I want to use AI, because it just helps me move fast. Rikar Omar, what are your thoughts on Nest.js? Do you think I should leave Express and use Nest.js? I haven't really used Nest.js. I just know it's a more like structured way to build out a backend application. And I would say use it so you can understand the paradigms that it provides you. I think it just provides more structure than using something like Express. Express is kind of like, you know, hack it together, get it to work. Nest is like, okay, feels more professional, you know. Maybe become a farmer. Nah, I'm good. Let me check something real quick. I have like 4 different streams playing. I need to like pause them. All right. What do you mean by burnout? What else do you want to do, Cody, besides coding? 1 second. So by burnout, I mean like I've been doing the same thing for like 11 years now. And at some point it gets kind of stale, right? You start reevaluating your life and you're like, dude, am I going to do this for the next 35 years of my life? And then you realize that there's no other option because it pays well. So you're like, okay, I guess I'm stuck doing this. I think it happens in every industry though. Like humans aren't meant to just sit and do the same thing every day. But then you realize that you just need to do it. And so you just work through it. Okay. Is there a better field to go in? Front end devs aren't having a good hiring at the moment. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe get more into back end, get more into DevOps. I think I read an article that like the job openings are the lowest they were since like a long time. Maybe this industry is slowly dying off. Who knows? And they're cutting a bunch of random government jobs in various industries. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Do you use any IAC? Wait, where am I? Is there a better field to go in? Yeah, I don't know. Do you use any infrastructure as code frameworks? I use Terraform at work. Terraform is my go-to. SST is nice if you want to just like do it on a side project. I haven't used it in production. Okay, I take that back. I've used SST on a small little work project to deploy a Next.js application. Other than that, I mean, I messed around with like CloudFormation, CDK a bit. I just don't like anything that touches CloudFormation personally. I haven't used Pulumi yet. People keep talking about it. They say it's good. I know SST is built on top of like Pulumi and Terraform. I just like using Terraform. It's not the greatest syntax, but I mean, it gets the job done. What kind of project on a CV would truly impress you? Honestly, just anything that's large scale, like build out a social media application, build out something that you're passionate about, and something that looks like it took longer than like a week to build. Like if you show me something that took you 6 months to build, like that's what would impress me. What's up, Lazar? Is it Lazar Nikolov? Hey man, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Hold on, let me give you a shout out. Oh shoot, got a $10 super donation chat, whatever it's called. Thank you so much, appreciate that. I appreciate you answering my question. I appreciate you joining the stream. And for the donation. Let me bring this down. We got another YouTuber in the chat. Lazar Nikolov. He does some Next.js stuff. He's been doing like clean architecture stuff. He works at Sentry. So go give him a follow. I'll go ahead and post his channel over here in the chat if you want to give him a follow. Anon, will it be a good idea to start with internships after taking a long break, like 2 years after college, basically a fresher returning to the industry? I'm not sure what to do. I'm 24, by the way. I think getting anything so that you have something to put in your resume would be a good idea. Internship, you know, a junior engineer position. An internship's probably worth more than like you sitting on the side, working on little side projects. Yeah, no problem, Lazar. We appreciate you. How one can say he/she is a mid-level developer, like what tech stack he/she already should know. I think it's not about what you know to be a mid-level. I think it's about like if you're given a task Are you able to figure it out and get it done? I think a junior engineer could probably have to reach out once in a while and ask questions to other engineers to try to figure it out. I think a mid-level should be able to figure out most stuff by themselves, and a senior engineer is the one calling the shots and help guiding everyone else and making the right choices. Sometimes as a mid-level, you may make a choice. It's not the best choice. A senior would be like, that's a wrong choice. You should do this choice instead. And of course, like as you get higher in like junior, mid, senior, it's just about like you're going to know more stuff. And you're going to be more efficient at finding the answer. And then also like as you get more senior, it's more about like communication, explaining your design choices, being able to communicate with the team why we should be doing something, or talking with clients. As a junior, kind of just like, what's my task? I'll do my little task. Okay. As a senior, it's like, okay, let's holistically look at the team. How's the team doing? Stuff like that. What's your take on object-oriented programming? I think it's fine. I've been doing it for that game I worked on. I think OOP has some really good utilities. I think something like Java, though, like Java is where it kind of crossed the line, where like they're trying to shove everything into the object-oriented programming hole, but it's like, dude, sometimes you have squares that you want to shove into that peg hole, right? So I don't think it's like it should be used for everything. And I don't like when a language is super, super rigid, where everything is an object and you have to make a class for literally everything. Is Convex Free Plan good for around 1,000 monthly active users? Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's not about your monthly active users. It's about how much traffic that you're getting. You could have 1 million monthly active users, but they only load your site once a day. I mean, yeah, like you're not going to pay anything. Let me go over to Twitch real quick. Can we store WebSockets in database? I don't understand that question. I don't think you, like, no. For a WebSocket, you have to have like a socket connection. That means you have a server. So I'm not really sure what you're asking. Okay, great. We'll do that. Hey, everyone. Why not sell in Udemy? Because I don't like the idea of someone else skimming off of my hard work, personally. Like, I'm gonna spend all this time making a course and then publish it somewhere, and then someone else skims 50% off of all my earnings. Like, that's, I don't know. Like, maybe it would pay off in the long run because you have like all these people who love buying courses on Udemy that they'll market to. But there's been some scammy stuff that Udemy has done, like fake price discounts. So it just, to me, Udemy feels gross. I'd rather like build my own platform and try to make money off of that. Lately, I've learned that complex React concepts are usually tied to implementing third-party libraries. Let's say a custom Axios config. Is that how it always is, where the complexity of React code only hikes with the use of third-party libraries? I guess I'm questioning your term of complexity, because bringing in Axios and doing like a custom config for it, that's not really complexity. That's just learning a tool. I mean, coding, this whole industry for web development is about gluing together third-party libraries. If you think about it, like we're just literally gluing together third-party libraries. That's the job. That's not the complexity. That's just like the standard of it. How do you charge clients for single page or simple website where there are no database, almost no DB? I am starting out and don't know how to charge for what. I've seen people charge like overall like a base fee. So you get like a package of like, here's a site with 3 pages, and then every additional page you charge like X amount of dollars. Now, I don't know how much you'd have to charge because it depends on where you live. But if there's no database, there's no dynamic data, I mean, that's like a pretty static site. I would probably charge on the lower side, because that's something you'd probably just like plug into ChatGPT and have it output static sites for you. Working at Amazon, not as a dev, but trying RO build an app that my department can use and see if there is a way to make it as a dev. Good luck with that. Keep working up the ladder. X Destin 0. Hey, I got a really basic question this morning. I set up a nav bar inside of layout TSX, which has an H1 tag. I wanted to update the content of H1, from inside a page. Is that possible? I think you could probably use like a provider or something. In your layout, you could have some type of provider that wraps the H1 with some state. And then when your page loads, that page could like update that H1. I'm not sure if there's a way to like, when it does the server-side rendering, to go back and update that. Honestly, I just haven't used Next in a hot minute, so I need to go back and refresh my memory. Okay, we got Ray Asanthu. Hello, hello, hello. Been a while since you were here. How are you? I'm doing good. Thanks for joining Twitch. What do you think of new Angular? I have not tried it. I'll get back to YouTube after I'm done with these. There's only like 3 left. I used to code with Angular JS, and then Angular when 2.0 came out, and then I think I got up to version like 4 or 6 before I switched over to React. Yeah, mainly static sites. I live in Canada. My target audience is small businesses with old folks running it. Yeah, personally, I just charge per page, and I would probably look at how many things are going to be on that page and just scope it that way. All right, let's go back to YouTube. Would you hire someone who has built a multi-threaded proxy server in Python? I mean, there's more than that. Like, being hireable is not just about like, do you technically know how to build something? It's also about like, if I were to sit next to you in a room and have a conversation with you, does it seem like it'd be nice to work with you? But I mean, multi-threaded proxy server in Python, it sounds complex, but then like I'd have to go look it up and figure out how to actually do that myself, because it might not be as hard as it sounds. I'm not really familiar with Python, even though I'm working on a project that is Python, Django, and Wagtail. Anthony says Laravel is the easiest to use. If a language doesn't matter, everyone should use Laravel. Yeah, personally, I have no issues with Laravel. I think it's a really great framework. It's been solid. That's one thing I'll give the Laravel community, is that like, it's like an all-inclusive package and ecosystem, and it's been there for like years. Versus if you look at the Node ecosystem, like every year there's a new thing that fragments out. People try to use it, and then after 2 years it gets abandoned. Laravel is like an actual like stable ecosystem. So yes, I would say Laravel is a good choice. Douglas Yao says, hey Cody, I'm thinking about transitioning from my role as a backend engineer in big tech to doing freelance work. Curious what your thoughts are on freelance project work-life balance and satisfaction. I don't do freelancing, but I would say maybe try to do like 1 or 2 freelance gigs on the side before you quit your backend engineering at big tech. Because I think what you're going to end up finding out is finding clients will be hard. And what you're end up going to probably do is you're going to find a project that's so large in scope that you end up just working full time on a single project. And now you're back to working full time doing freelance, probably getting paid less with no benefits. But I don't know. I would say try it out on the side, like do a side hustle and try to find one client who wants a little website built, build it for them, see how much you get paid for it, see how much time you end up spending on actually like communicating back and forth with the client instead of actually building, and all the other overhead that's going to be involved with like doing freelance projects. And then also verify that you're able to like juggle. Can you juggle working on multiple freelance projects at the same time? Or do you like drop the balls, you know? Those are the things I'd recommend doing instead of, because I mean, if you have if you're in a big tech role right now, like you're probably getting paid some good money with some good benefits. And in this economy, I probably would not leave that personally. What is a good onboarding process for a junior? What is a good onboarding process? Like when you get hired at a job? I'm not sure if this question is. What are the best ways? Lad01, what are the best ways to secure VPS and website that's running on it? I mean, typically you probably want to set up firewall rules. You want to make sure your database isn't accessible from the outside. If you have a web server, you probably want to, like, let's say your web server is running on port like 80. Typically in front of that, you'd have like some type of caddy server, some reverse proxy server running in front of your actual like web server to handle the certificates and stuff. And so you only want to open ports like 443 and 80. Let's see what else. Probably you want to run your services with a particular user group and user. I'm sure there's other things. If you have multiple VPSs, like let's say your database lives on a separate VPS, you should probably have like a VPC set up of a virtual private cloud. And then so that the only machine that can access your database would be that other VPS that's running. Do you follow courses or tutorials when learning something new, or do you just use documentation? Sometimes I'll watch a tutorial. I'll find a video that's like 3-4 hours long and I'll watch it 2 times speed just to get an idea of like the syntax. I think the last thing I ran through was like a Go tutorial. I wanted to learn a little bit about Go, so I watched like one of those really long like introduction to Go courses, and I just like skimmed through it real quick just to see how people were using the syntax. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Do you know OWASP? I've used it on a project. That's like the security tool that you run against your backend API endpoints in your server to make sure that you don't have like security vulnerabilities, right? I don't know about when you say do you know, I mean, I scratched the surface of it. I got it set up because it was required on a project that we had to have like OWASP compliant security checks, but I didn't really dive deep into it, honestly. Holocraft, thoughts on TanStack Start? Haven't tried it, but everything those guys makes is incredible. Yeah, I've been using TanStack Start on a little side project. I like it a lot. I think it's a lot simpler to digest than Next.js. If you're coming from like Vite and like a single page application world, transitioning from that to TanStack Start is like super simple. The router is like fully type safe, which is awesome. I give it S tier. I think it's pretty good. And then of course TanStack Query. It's like everyone's used that. I recommend it. I'm just waiting for it to become like more production ready, which I think they mentioned in the summer it might become production ready, like version 1.0. I don't like promoting things too much on my channel that aren't like production ready, but I mean, for what I've seen, TanStack Start's pretty solid. I say that, but I use Drizzle on my tutorials, and Drizzle's still in beta, so it's like, okay, let me take back what I just said. OWASP is a foundation. I don't know how to prevent a foundation. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the question is. Okay, the term OWASP, I think I use something called ZAP. OWASP ZAP. I'm setting up an old PC as an Ubuntu server, and projects on the server will be running on Docker containers with traffic, as well as I have been having Cloudflare tunners container. Do you think that would be as secure as server would be on my home network? Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be secure, right? I mean, the home network thing would be like the part that's kind of iffy. Like, do you have 100% reliable internet? Do you have 100% reliable power? Do you have backup power set up? Will AI take software jobs? I mean, I think it's probably already taken software jobs. Like, it's making certain things so easy to implement that it's like you could hire one person to do the job of like 2 in some scenarios, especially like when it builds like building out front end UIs and styling and stuff. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's just hard to tell. But I think AI will obviously kill jobs. What's your favorite event listener? If it comes to the web development, I just use the one that's built into like the DOM objects. What was that called? Event emitter? Ashish Mahatni says, can you suggest some projects to make in full stack which can teach me a lot of things and hopefully add it to a portfolio as well? I mean, build like an online course platform. Build a social media application. Build an online bidding site. Like literally just look at any other websites out there and just clone it. If you can't think of something fun to build yourself, you know? Let me go to live chat. Okay. Where was I? Dude, I'm so far back in chat. Holy moly. Like there's not even scroll back. That's how far back I am. Let me try to go faster. TanStack Start is super refreshing, I would say. I started a couple of projects with it and I really like the DX. Yeah. How's work? Yeah, it's work. Pays the bills. React.js or Vue.js? In your opinion, let's see. I don't know. If you're a beginner, Vue.js is nice. Vue.js is simplistic, but React.js has a bigger ecosystem, in my opinion. And I've always been paid to write React code when I build out websites. So I'm probably going to stick with React.js, honestly. In your opinion, which is the best tech stack to build an MVP as quickly as possible? I mean, probably maybe Laravel. Honestly, Laravel, its giant ecosystem has everything you need. Other than that, I would probably pick my stack, which is like either Next.js or TanStack Start with some type of ORM. Meow. I started learning web dev. It took me literally 1 year, but sometimes I feel demotivated while learning, like it never finishes. And specifically Next.js, how to deal with stress. I mean, it never finishes. You're always going to be learning something. So like that's something you're going to have to get used to, is every day you're going to learn something new. Every week, every year, there's something new you have to learn. So yeah, it'll never finish. That's just part of the job. And that's true for most industries, right? If you become a doctor, you have to go and you have to do training. Like they're required to go do like seminars and stuff to learn new treatment plans and new technologies and medicines. So always be learning is probably a goal you should have in this industry. Varshith says, what's the bar to get hired as a full stack developer for a junior position or internship? Honestly, I don't know, man. Like, just not only do you need some technical skills, like, can you solve some of the problems that we're asking you to solve without having to be handheld the whole time? What have you built in the past, like your portfolio or just like one project that really demonstrates your knowledge? Can you speak about things at a decent, like to a decent extent, I guess? And then also, are you just like a nice person to work with? Like, are you friendly? Is this someone I want to work on my team? When I ask them a question, do they respond decently fast and decently well? So I guess those are my bars. What is the best way to learn data science algorithms for interview? Honestly, leak code. I would just learn leak codes. Just practice leak codes. You're gonna cover like tree problems, hash map problems, recursion problems, dynamic programming problems. I personally like leak code. I think it's good training. Hey Cody, an AI horror video project. How did you get the subtitles to sync with the audio? I believe when I use OpenAI's Whisper tool or whatever it's called, they give you timestamps. And so then I basically played through the video with a certain frames per second, so like 25 frames per second, and then I do the math. If I'm on frame 50, At 25 frames per second, I'm at 2 minutes, or sorry, 2 seconds. And then I just look up the timestamps and say, okay, I have a timestamp that's between a minute and a half and 2.5 minutes. So if the current frame is in between that window, then you show the text and you can highlight it with a certain color. I think that's how I did it. If you're a front-end engineer and want to get into back-end also within your company, what is the best approach to this? I'd probably reach out to your back-end engineers or reach out to your managers who manage the back-end team and just say, hey, I really want to get into back-end. Is there an opportunity for me to transition over? And in the meantime, like maybe just learn some more back-end stuff along the way so they have a good reason to bring you over. I think just showing excitement, like I don't know how big your company is, but showing excitement about something new is typically something that like people will be like, yeah, sure, come on over. You know how they say do T-shaped learning. We can cover breadth, but how to choose at what domain to get depth in. I mean, I would choose a domain that either pays really well or something you're actually interested in. Because when it comes to like full stack engineering, you got front end, you got back end, you got like the DevOps side of things, you got the database side of things. Pick one of those and be like, which ones do I actually care about? Let's say you really like front end. So then you can dive in and be like, I want to become really, really good at like styling stuff with CSS and Tailwind or whatever. I want to become really good at understanding the nuances of React and all the different hooks and how to build and maintain more composable React components, how to do like state management, how to do, what's it called? Like state machines, stuff like that. Yeah, just choose something that you like and just start diving deeper into it. Don't think you should worry about making, what time is it? Dude, I'm 30 minutes back in comments, Jesus. Sorry guys, I'm just so slow at comments. But yeah, I mean, I make the courses to help people, right? So if it costs too much, then like no one's learning from me. So it's like I can't make it too expensive where no one buys it, because then it's like, okay, what's the point of me making the course if no one's learning? But then I can't make it too cheap because it's like, dude, I'm not going to charge $5 for this course. I just spent like 10 hours making it, and $5 isn't even enough to like buy a thing of French fries from McDonald's in the United States. So, what is your approach to store complex filter states for a table persistently? Because I find local storage so annoying for that. I mean, those are really only your options. There's local storage and there's like session storage. But if you want it to store when you like leave and come back, local storage might be your only case. I'm sure there's probably a nice syncing library in React.js where you could just like update some state and have it auto sync and auto restore from local storage, or you could write one yourself. Yeah, local storage is probably your best bet. Hey Cody, what's the mechanical keyboard sound you're using? I use a virtualized one called Clack App. ALACK. I'm building a social network app like Instagram with Next.js, Drizzle, and React Query. How can I handle notifications like liked, commented, sent? Are you talking about live notifications? Then you're going to want to add in some type of a long polling endpoint or some type of WebSocket server so that when a notification, like when one of your posts is liked, the WebSocket server can send out an event to your account so you can show something. Other than that, typically like you have like a long polling mechanism on the front end where you do a request to a backend and the backend API endpoint doesn't like respond instantly. And then it kind of just listens for like data. And then when that data comes in, you can send over a response, and the front end continuously like reconnects that long polling endpoint. There's also server sent events. I think it's called server sent events or server side events. Same idea. You basically open up a connection to an endpoint that never closes, and the server can just like stream down events to you. That actually might be the best approach. But the issue with Next.js is that it depends on where you're deploying. If you're deploying to Vercel, like all that's out the window. Like you can't have a persistent endpoint because they use serverless, and those serverless endpoints are going to, end at some point. So they're going to recommend that you use some third-party library or some third-party service to handle something simple that you could just do easily on a VPS, you know? So can you give advice to solo developers who plan to launch their own app, like in terms of what they should be prepared or ready for, especially with handling data? I think the most important would be security. Make sure every endpoint is double checked. To make sure you're checking the person making the request is who they say they are. So authentication. And then authorization, making sure that they have access to the data they're trying to fetch or insert. And that goes at the request level. So is the endpoint secured, but also inside of the handler, that sometimes, like, depending on your user role, certain data needs to be filtered out so that, like, you don't expose emails or expose people's first names and last names. Is those type of things I would say keep in mind. Other than that, yeah, I'm not really sure. Considering trying convex for a client, should I be concerned about lock-in? I mean, lock-in's always a concern. I'm not going to lie about that. Like, yeah. I mean, they have a self-hosting option, which they've been kind of pushing hard for now, where you can actually take the convex engine and host it on like a VPS or something. So you're still going to be locked into like how convex kind of works, but at least you're not locked into their platform. Like, you can host it yourself if you want to, but lock-in's always a concern for everything. Like, even if you use Postgres, right? You're locked into Postgres unless you structure your code in a way that abstracts your business logic a little bit away from Postgres. And if you start using like things that exist in SQL, like stored procedures, you've just locked yourself more into Postgres. If you start using all these different Postgres things that it has, I can't say off the top of my head what it has, but I know it has a bunch of features. Like, I think they have like events, like subscriptions and, you know, PubSub. You start hooking in the PubSub with Postgres, you're now locked in even more to Postgres. So it's like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, no matter what you do, like, you're going to get locked in. Use React for your front end. Well, now you're locked into React ecosystem, right? So you just have to choose, like, how much lock-in is lock-in. I don't know what I'm saying. Any solid SaaS ideas to make some side income? Honestly, if I knew, I would be doing it, because I just want to make a really successful SaaS product, sell it, and then just, like, vanish with my millions of dollars. Like, if you ever see that I just disappear, like my channel no longer has published, like I'm just done publishing videos, you know I got rich. Either I died or I got rich. Bit of a late message, but I get your burnout. We have our first 1 year, one daughter. Oh, I can't even read. We have our first 1-year-old daughter, and with her, stuff at home, same turd every week at job. I literally don't have the mental capacity to learn new. Yeah, man, and when I had my kids, like, I don't think it's until they reached the ages of 3 and 4 where I felt like I had free time. It's like you're constantly running around, warming up bottles, changing diapers. You're like, okay, I got 30 minutes to myself, I can do something. And then you sit down, you start doing something, your baby starts crying. You're like, okay, there goes that idea. But yeah, I guess my recommendation is a lot of caffeine. If you want to actually, like, get that mental capacity, caffeine, and then when everyone's asleep, just go and spend an hour just doing something for yourself. How to be a software engineer beyond languages and frameworks. I guess mentality, being able to communicate, diagram, document, talk to a team, talk to clients. Those are all things that are important with software engineering. Hey Cody, I'm learning full stack web dev currently. Will there be a hiring for MERN in a few years? Do people still use Mongo? I think the hype has died down for Mongo, but I'm guessing there's still a lot of people using Mongo. But yeah, I mean, like, everyone's still using React, so the React part of that is still good. People still use Node. You know, switch Node with Bun, switch E-Express. I mean, yeah, people still use the MERN stack. What strategies help you get your first role in web development, and what advice would you give someone looking to do the same today? Networking. Probably the most important is networking. That's how I found my first job, is networking, and then how I found my second job was networking, is getting to know people, being friendly with them, showing them that you know what you're talking about and you're eager to learn and do stuff. And then when a job opportunity pops up at their company, they're like, hey, I know this kid who's pretty good. Definitely go give him an interview because I think you're going to be impressed with what he has to do, what he has to say and stuff, you know? So yeah, networking. That's my number one advice. So join Discords, talk to people, get your name known out there somehow, and let those doors open up. Hey Cody, I've been trying to use your clean architecture approach and combine it with uploading files, and I'm a bit confused how should I do it with Supabase storage? Client side, server side? I don't even know what Supabase storage is, honestly. Is that like their file storage solution? I'm going to clear my throat again. When Cody disappears, he made it. The MF made it. Yeah, I mean, I've been, let's see. Yeah, I just use my laptop keyboard, honestly. The MacBook laptop keyboard is by far the best keyboard I've ever used. Okay, I've tried mechanical keyboards, like they sound cool, they feel like you're actually like, you know, doing something powerful with your keyboard. But then I use the MacBook laptop keyboard, and it's just like, it's so easy to press a key that you can type extremely fast. And then if you go back to a mechanical keyboard from that, it just feels like you're actually like doing a workout trying to type. It just, I don't know. When software engineers' skill overlaps DevOps engineers, then why do they have a separate designation? I mean, DevOps is more like, from what I've seen in the industry, DevOps is supposed to be like a paradigm that you follow. And it's a way that your team should work. But in reality, what DevOps ends up being is like you have a developer who's really good at cloud, infrastructure as code, GitHub Actions, CI/CD pipelines. Like that's a DevOps engineer. They take your code, they figure out how to build it, test it, bundle it, ship it to the cloud or whatever. And they're really good at like looking at these different automated services and pipelines and like hooking that all together. Hot take, but I still love you. I don't even know what my take was, honestly. I just forgot what I just said, but fresh grad, should I go to startup or big corp? Startup. If you don't have kids, you don't have a wife, you don't have responsibilities, I would do a startup. You're going to learn so much. They're going to throw so much responsibility at you that after like 2 years, you're going to be super, super good. Big corp, I feel like it's going to be soul draining. But they give you that stability, right? If you want a solid paycheck, you want more stability that you won't just randomly have your company go bankrupt or get fired. I think big corp will give you that stability. I would choose startup though. If I had an opportunity, I did a big corp right after I graduated, and it just felt like I was working with people who didn't care. Like they just didn't seem like they cared. Like they're there for a paycheck. I don't know. I haven't worked at Fang before, but I would consider Fang big corp. And from what I've heard, when you work at Fang, you're kind of just like another teeny little piece in the giant gear cog system that you're not going to be noticed. Like the things you do, like it doesn't feel like you have impact. But I don't know. That's just what I feel about it. I don't know if it's actually true. Maybe you could ship one thing to Gmail and have like millions of people using it, and that could have a lot of impact to your mentality, I guess. How do you go from I'm good at solving individual coding problems and building toy apps to I'm good at engineering, designing, architecting systems? Probably just by reading a bunch of stuff, building a lot of stuff. Like there's a couple of good YouTube channels out there that teach about like, what's that one channel? Like how to like hook in like a Redis and how to do like RabbitMQ and how to do ActiveMQ message brokers and how to build out Kafka. There's like this good YouTube channel. I had to find it, but understanding all these different like services and databases and when you use one over the other and how they can scale up, and I think that's how you get good at like designing and engineering. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer your question about clean architecture, honestly. Sometimes if it doesn't make sense, like sometimes in clean architecture, it's like, it feels like more friction to get the thing working than just don't do it, right? Just do it whatever way you need to. Just make sure that you somehow have a light wrapper around the abstraction so that you don't have like your code talking to Supabase in 1,000 different files. Because when you decide that maybe you don't want to store your files in Supabase storage and you want to use S3, you don't want to have to go and refactor 100 places. You want to refactor one function, and that's it. So find a way to structure your code at the very least so that there's like one layer of abstraction over your file storage. Does the company you work for hire international developers that need sponsorships? I do not think they do. We usually hire American citizens because we do a lot of contracting jobs for the government. Can you give some advice how to give a remote junior dev job at the United States and Europe? I don't work at Europe, so I don't know. Oh, wait. Why is this lagging? Hold on, this is like freezing up. First of all, remote jobs, like I feel like we're slowly trying to get everyone back into the office. Did I just lose my internet? Yo, Twitch, can you say hi if you're still here? Oh, it's just my chat. Anyway, I guess YouTube decided to die on me. All right, I'm just gonna go to the bottom and work my way back up. Like, there's too many chat messages. I'm sorry, guys. You know, can someone explain what vibes-based architecture is? Like, vibe-based development. I keep seeing like on Primogen and Theo's. They made some videos about it. I just haven't had time to watch it. Like, what does it mean? What does C++ need from us to secure memory safely? I don't use C++, so I can't answer that question. What have you recently been interested in that's new to you or challenging your skill limit to new horizons? Preferably not to do with your educational material, something a little bit more personal. I mean, what I've been doing on the side is learning about day trading with stocks. And then also I've been flying virtual quadcopters. That doesn't really, I don't know if that answers your question, but. Please make more videos on TanStack Start. I do plan to. I'll probably have a larger full stack tutorial video coming soon. Using TanStack Start and Convex. We decided for me to learn 1 year and start helping the React team. Do you think this is okay? Yeah, I guess. Sounds like it's a good idea. Help with the React team. That sounds like some good, hard, honest work. Infrastructure as code sucks. Wish my company had a DevOps engineer. It is pretty soul draining. You write your code, you run it, it fails. You write it again, you run it, it fails. You push it, you run your GitHub action, it fails. You keep doing that over and over again, and then finally it works. And then you have to like do all this other stuff, but it pays well. Off topic, do you procrastinate? Yeah, sometimes. What is the #1 habit to do to not get burned out and keep building stuff while still being productive? I don't know if you can ever prevent yourself from getting burned out, but you can try to make it like discipline. You know, it's like, okay, I don't want to code today. I didn't really want to make a video today. I just realized that I haven't been making videos on my YouTube channel. And I have enough discipline to be like, you know what, even if I don't want to go on stream, I'm going to do a stream today because I have to keep this channel alive. And that's just what it takes. And then once you start doing it, you realize, okay, this isn't too bad. Like, you know, it's fun talking to people on stream. So I guess just getting the discipline to force yourself to do it. And then when you start doing it, you realize, okay. What are your views on using Dino? I have never used Dino, honestly. Just landed first job, well, thanks to networking. Absolutely. What's up, Rodrigo? We got a member here. Is Convex Supabase open source actually good? Like, will it support large applications? Let's say 10,000 real-time users. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it will. 10,000 real-time users is kind of low, right? Is it worth learning coding if I don't want to get into the industry? Are there opportunities? Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth learning just because you learn better about problem solving and you learn something new. Learning new stuff is always good. There's been many times where I learned something on the side and then it comes back to help me with what I'm doing now. Like, it's just like this weird, like, somehow this connects to this and it just helps me progress in what I'm currently doing. Are you saying that if I use the Postgres stack, I'll lock myself into it? You could potentially, yeah. It depends on what, if you're using like stored procedures in your database, like you're getting coupled to your database, right? When to use EC2 ECS Amplify. Amplify if you don't want to take the time to learn about DevOps. ECS if you want to host containers that auto-scale for you. EC2 if you are a masochist and love configuring boxes yourself because you want to save some pennies on hosting. What do you think of the hype around AI? CEO Claude says AI replaced 90% of developers in 6 months. I mean, I think that's a bold claim, and I think that's not a true claim. But I do think AI, like, if you're not coding with AI, here's my take. If you're not coding with AI in your day job or like on your side projects, you're just doing yourself a disservice. I know there's people on various places that say AI is bad and like AI makes you a bad developer. But from what I have seen, I've worked with AI and Cursor like for the past year now or something. I would never, like, if my company said I could not use Cursor anymore, I'd probably quit. I would quit and find a different company because the productivity gains with using Cursor and AI, like, you can't argue against it. But yeah, I don't know if it'll replace 90% of developers. I think that's, I would not believe that. Should I learn Node? What's your take on local first? I think if you want a really good user experience, local first is probably a good idea. Any advice on handling multiple inputs and panels? Like saving a movie's cast with individual... I'm not sure. Prisma or Drizzle? Honestly, I'd probably say Prisma. Prisma, I feel like it's backed by a company with like legit seed money or whatever they call it, investor money. Drizzle's still in beta. Drizzle is just an open source project. No offense to the people who maintain Drizzle. I think it's a great library, but like if you're going to be like, let's be serious. If you're going to pick between two tools, you probably want to pick the one that's like supported by a legit like big company. Have I used Astro? A little bit. I played with Astro a little bit. I think it's pretty good. How important would you say a portfolio is to securing a job? Probably not that important. I think being able to talk about what you've built fluently and convincingly and with confidence, that's much more important. When you come into an interview, yeah, you can show me the stuff you built, but if you can actually like be enthusiastic and explain what you built and why you built it and how you like, you know, did this and that and the other when you're building it out, that's the important part. I think the portfolio and the projects you put in your portfolio are just like signals that you actually put in some work to like learn about the coding aspect of it. Why doesn't SSD get more respect? Not enough time? I think it gets some pretty good respect. I mean, it has a decent amount of GitHub stars. I think it's just new. Yeah. Ever interested in hacking? Not really. Kind of stay away from that stuff, you know? I don't want to get put in a list. I don't want to get put on a list and then have someone in a black suit knock on your door and say, "Hey, do you want to work for me?" I'm like, "I'm good." Thoughts on the vibe coding? How do you manage your time? How do you keep your social life, work, and studying? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. When I get the energy to do something, like for example, the live stream today, when I got some energy, I just said, let's do it. Went upstairs and started doing a live stream. Like my wife's watching the kids right now, so I appreciate her doing all the hard work watching the kids so I can have some time to do some of this stuff on a weekend. After work, I'll go up at like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock when I have an idea, and I'll record a video for it when the kids are sleeping or whatnot. And then also I'll just sit in bed next to my wife. Like we'll be either watching TV, just read some articles, read some documentation, stuff like that. See yourself learning Go. I spent some time on this channel learning Go. I think Go's great. I like Go a lot. When software engineer skills overlaps. I'm in a phase when I get motivated to create complex projects, but when I'm in the middle of it, I lose motivation and scrap the project. Any suggestions? Bro, that's the story of my life, man. Like, that's literally the summary of my YouTube channel. I get super motivated, I build something, and then like you'll see me do some live streams on it, you'll see me make some content on it, and then people are like, yo, what happened to that game you're working on? What happened to that scary story generator you're working on? Bro, I just abandoned everything. You want to keep motivation? Maybe find someone else to pair with on something. Like find one other developer who can like keep you motivated, keep you on task, and keep you focused. That's probably my best suggestion. That would give you the most benefit. Because when you start going, you're gonna, ADHD, I'm gonna go work on this other cool project now. The other person can be like, hey, what are you doing? I thought we were working on this together. And you're like, oh yeah, you're right. And you come back and you work on it, Have I ever tried Solid? I have. Hire me. One day I may start hiring people who watch my channel. I might start building side projects and hiring them to build out something for me. I'm just not there yet. I'm not ready yet because that's going to be a lot more additional overhead on my part to like maintain and get people and like communicate with them. Hey, what's up, Ray Fernando? Let me give you a shout out real quick. Hold on. He's another YouTuber. Here in the chat, go follow Ray. I think it kind of focuses on AI stuff right now. Do you think it's worth taking a deep dive in the databases, like the architecture and other aspects? There's so many things to learn. Yeah. I would never say learning something new is bad. It's always good to learn something new and broaden your horizons. Without a doubt. Now, is the thing you're learning going to help you with your ultimate short-term, long-term goals? I don't know. If you're trying to just get a job as a web developer, then taking a deep dive in the databases will not help you. You need to focus on building out web applications. Is it common project web? You're asking some types. I'm going to skip that one because I don't want to do coding right now. Does the front end need to have a load balancer in front of it? It depends on how you're hosting your front end. Typically, you can host your front end on a VPS. And yes, you'd probably want a load balancer, but for what I've seen, a single VPS that's scaled vertically can probably handle quite a lot of traffic, like a lot more traffic than you think. You vibe coding at work? Okay, let me Google what vibe coding is. Someone says it's take a gummy and code. I don't vibe code at work. I like AI, deep neural nets, and a lot in Next.js. I want to become a master of Next.js. Sorry for this question, but how did you start? What videos did you watch, or what articles did you read? I mean, Next.js has a really good, like, 9-part introduction. They, like, walk you through all the different parts that you need to know about Next.js. I would find that and read through that tutorial. And then I'd probably just watch some YouTube videos about it. Like, watch people build something with Next.js. Which one do you think I pursue? Thank you for the hearts, whoever that is. Is that my wife? Tina, is that you? Developed by Ed. We got a guest appearance by Developed by Ed. Let me give you a shout out too. Even though everyone knows who you are. Yo, you're almost at 1 million subs, man. Congrats. Go check out Developed by Ed. He does Next.js stuff, React stuff. He's one of the OGs. It's like him and Web Dev Simplified are like the OGs on this ecosystem, in this YouTube ecosystem. You feel like you're going to get more into game dev this year. Also glad to see you streaming. Yeah, at the beginning of the year and end of last year, I was doing like that game. But then I realized I need to do sponsor videos, and I don't think sponsors are going to be like, hey, let's sponsor this guy who's doing game dev now, unfortunately. So I kind of pivoted back to TanStack Start and my more usual web dev content, because at the end of the day, like, this channel is kind of like a business, and I need to have sponsors want me to make content. But yeah, making games is fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was really fun making that game. I just wish I had more time in the day that I could actually like work on things and like fully finish them. Vibe coding is basically prompting an LLM to churn out code for you without having to actually write the actual code, coined by Andre Kaparthi. You basically just reprompt if you've got a bug along the way. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, if that's what vibe coding is, definitely. Like, I use Cursor Compose all the time to just churn out content and churn out stuff. And then at some point when it starts making too many mistakes, I'll just dive into the code and just do it myself. But like, once you have a pretty solid code base, like, you can ask Cursor Compose to like do a lot of stuff. And as long as you have like your cursor rules file set up good, and you have like, if you keep in mind to give it the right context, like typically I'll have it index a bunch of different documentation pages, and then like when I ask a question, I'll do an @ symbol and I'll reference certain docs, and then it just like solves my problems for me. If that's what vibe coding is, using AI to code, then absolutely. I'm a vibe coder now. How old am I? I think I'm like 33 or 34 now. I'm getting up there. Developed by Ed. That makes sense with the sponsors, but man, TanStack Start has been a blast. Yeah, TanStack Start is awesome. I'm pretty much doing a full migration over to it. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just nice. It just feels like you're back to how React used to be, like the single page application client side rendering first, and then you can like easily use TanStack Start. You don't have to worry about these hydration issues. It's nice. I'm hoping it goes prod soon, or version 1.0 soon. I'm new to coding. Can you give me any advice to go with? Yeah, learn something new every day, I guess. I don't know. With vibe coding, you rarely ever touch the code. Well, then I don't think I'd do. I don't fully do vibe coding then, because I don't think the AI tool's that great. Like, it's good. Don't get me wrong. Like, Cursor Compose and using AI is good, but I've always had to dive into the code to do my manual tweaks. Why is search engine optimization with Next.js so hard? I'm not really sure. Not quite what vibe coding is. It's in reference to less skilled developers being able to make software they are technically not skilled enough to make by hand. It's like the worst name for it. Who came up with the name vibe coding? It should be called like fake it till you make it coding. You know? It should be called like offloading your brain coding. Like I like the who made the suggestion that vibe coding is taking a gummy and opening NeoVim. Like that's what vibe coding means to me, bro. It's like an hour in after the gummies kick in. Like that's vibe coding. And then you have like some liquid drum and bass or some chill hop music playing. It was first coined by Andre Kaparthi, director of AI at Tesla. Let me Google this real quick. Vibe coding is a term that refers to coding approach that leverages large language models to generate working code from natural language descriptions, often with conversational and see things, say things, run things, and copy paste things approach. There's a new kind of coding I call vibe coding, where you fully give into the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that the code even exists. I think this guy took a gummy before he posted that too. It just feels very like he was high when he wrote that, but I mean, if you prompt AI enough, after the 20th time, it'll get it right. It's just a matter of being patient. It's a matter of, do you want to spend 8 hours reprompting AI to fix the bug that it introduced? Or do you want to take 5 minutes and fix it yourself because you know how to fix it? Bro, I got a video, I got to edit it, but I basically did some Tailwind. Like I wanted to build out a Tailwind page just to practice my Tailwind skills, and I did it by hand. It took me 20 minutes. And then I took a screenshot of the same page and I paste it into Cursor and I say, build this page. It does it in 5 seconds and it basically builds the exact same page for me. But there was like a sense of reward when I built it myself. And I actually felt accomplished. I will say that one thing, like ever since AI has come out, I've literally been kind of, I don't know if the word depressed is the right word. What's the word for it? It just feels like all the hard work you spent into learning something and becoming like a master at your trade has been like wiped. Just completely wiped. Like the 11 plus years of coding I've spent just trying to become better and more efficient at typing and using my IDE and understanding how to do all this stuff. When AI can literally do it in 5 seconds, you're like, bro, what is the point? Why did you stop working on Story Generator? Because I think I have ADHD and I cannot stay focused on one thing at a time. But also, like those AI videos that I was generating, I got a lot of hate from it. Like people didn't see, they call it like AI slop, and they're like, oh, you're ruining the industry, you're ruining content creation. And I'm like, you know what? It's like, whatever. And I also wasn't getting any sales, right? Like I made it, I was out there, literally no one bought any credits, no subscriptions. And I'm like, at what point do you give up on an idea, you know? And then secondly, most of the stuff I build is just to make content on my channel. Like, let's be honest, most of the things I run off and start building is just so I can have something to talk about in my videos. Because you all get bored pretty fast, you know? But if I have a new project every 2 months, it keeps you guys interested. What do you think the best way for skilled programmers in third world countries to get remote jobs? I don't know. Probably freelancing, honestly. I don't know. How far do you think a solo dev can go? I think if you have enough discipline, drive, and time, like you could probably build out a lot now. Like before, like it would probably be very hard to build an entire application yourself. But now, like with AI tooling, it's like, bro, you could probably go 5 times further now with the same amount of time. I think it's possible to be a really good solo dev. I'm a full stack developer working with React and Fast API. What do you think are the most important things to learn to advance to the next level as an engineer? Why does no one talk about, oh, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I guess working on larger projects, working on projects that have more requests per second, more monthly active users, trying to find more responsibilities. Like you should always be trying to do something that puts you out of that comfort zone. Like if you feel like you're in a comfort zone and you're just like, you know, I'm safe. I'm getting my paycheck. That's when it's time to like, okay, I either need to ask for a promotion or ask for more responsibilities or just like learn more things. I don't know if that answers your question. Why does no one talk about AI hallucinations? It's way internet will be terrible. Stack Overflow will be back, and why this version of AI will not be viable. Because they're just not. It's just not as bad as you think it is. Here's the thing: I would not be talking about Cursor and AI if I did not think it's useful. Like I literally have 2 Cursor subscriptions right now. I have one for my personal laptop and one for my work laptop, because that is how useful I have found coding with Cursor to be. If I didn't find it useful, I wouldn't use it. Like everything I do on my channel, like when I talk about convex being very useful, and I've used convex for side projects because I think it's useful. When I do all my diagramming, I use Eraser.io because I find it useful. When I use Cursor instead of VS Code now, because I actually find it useful. And I find it Cursor more useful enough. What did I just say? I find Cursor valuable enough that coding without it puts me at a disadvantage. And so, like, I don't know what type of hallucinations that people should be talking about. Like, yeah, sometimes it gives hallucinations and it gives you bad code, but then you just reprompt it and say, your code's broken, and then it fixes itself. Like, you know what I'm saying? BGN, thank you for the super chat. Do you think AI is taking the joy out of programming? Absolutely. It's kind of killed the joy for programming for me. It's not about the journey anymore. It's about the destination. I think it just requires a mindset shift a little bit. It's not about like feeling pride about knowing how to code and like being able to solve the problems yourself and being fast and efficient at finding the answers. You have to like pivot your mindset to be like being proud of shipping and delivering features faster. Which for me, after like feeling pride in like coding and being really efficient at coding, at least I feel like I am. You guys might think otherwise, but that's been a hard thing to hurdle for me. Like knowing that AI can crank out the same code that I can in 5 seconds that takes me 20 minutes to churn out. You know, it's a sobering, is that sobering feeling? I don't know. Do other people feel that way? Does AI take the joy out of programming? It's almost like you spent 10 years like learning how to play piano really well, and like you know the technique, and you can read all the sheet music, and now they're like there's this tool that you put in your hands and it just presses the keys for you. Okay, so it's like, why am I here? Just so that I have hands the thing can interact with? So that I can have a cursor I can click accept when it generates code for me? But it's like we've crossed the threshold. Like we're not going back to not using it, especially at least in web development, right? Like maybe there's other fields where it's not useful, like embedded systems or like lower level languages. Like that's when you probably need the expertise to understand memory management, and AI gets it wrong every time. But for web development, like there's no going back. Like there's no way we're going to go back to a world where developing without AI is more efficient than using AI. Each time I have to do web, I can't think about how everything is. To me, a complete nightmare, and often perform poorly. Using TypeScript to fix JavaScript with React on top. It's web dev doomed because everything built on JavaScript from the thoughts? I mean, I won't lie. The JavaScript web development ecosystem is complete garbage. Like, it's just crap built on top of crap built on top of crap. And it's about getting good at understanding this crap so you can build more crap on top of it. Sorry, that was a little bit negative. But that's how I feel. Like, when I use something like Go and like I can save a file and have it auto format for me, and I didn't have to go and install some like other thing to achieve a baseline of standards, that's when you start realizing that, okay, the ecosystem you're coding in is actually pretty bad, versus there's other ecosystems out there that are like built pretty solid from the start. But I mean, I guess that's part of the job, is having to juggle this complexity a little bit. I saw the news about TypeScript 7 being 10 times faster only because the compiler would parallelize compilation. You think with how long TypeScript has been out, like, this would have been a solved problem years ago. You know how they probably solved it? They probably took their TypeScript compiler and they asked OpenAI to parallelize their compilation. Rewrite and Go. That's probably what they said. Take this code base and rewrite it in Go. I asked if AI taking software jobs and Voidin, and Dario replied, the shovel sellers say that soon shovels will be a valuable tool. They are trying to sell you something. I mean, the software engineering is more than just like coding, right? So AI cannot take away the necessity of like talking to people, talking to clients, talking to your team, making sure everyone's on the same page about orchestrating deployments and coordinating team A to talk to team B, which team B needs to wait on team C. Like, AI is not going to solve that problem. And you need people with domain level expertise and technology to be able to solve that problem. Okay. The make an AI API endpoint stuff, like, okay, AI can really do that really fast, but there's so much more than just coding, right? Lord. The job market is currently very competitive. Do you think it's better to learn more rather than just being a front-end or back-end developer? Yeah, I mean, like with any competitive market, you have to find a way to stand out. And that's either you need to learn more or you need to go very deep in a particular specialty. Or just make friends with people. I bet you money there's people out there who are very bad at coding, but the reason they got hired is because they are very fun and enjoyable to work with. Right? So don't forget your soft skills. If you have good soft skills, but then also good technical skills, that's going to put you above a lot of other people. I'm 17 years old, learning web dev. What should I more focus on, getting job first or mastering on basics? If you're 17 again, what would you learn? It's not about what I learn, it's about what I build. I would focus on building one large project. Like right now, pick a project you want to build and every day think about new features you can add onto it. That's what I would do if I was 17 years old again. Now, the getting a job thing, that depends on your financial situation. If you need money, then yeah, I'd probably focus on getting a job at the same time of like trying to build out something large. I have a very complex project to do, something I've never done before. I don't know where to start. Can you give me some advice? I would try to find a way to take that complex project and break it down to the smaller, tackleable, digestible pieces. I think I have a video that I did recently about that. Go check my channel. I think it's like maybe 3 or 4 videos ago where I talked about the software engineering mindset you need. Maybe it'll help you out if you watch that. I don't know. In my company, we have no unit tests. What should I do? think I should just start doing unit tests, at least for my code. Yeah, I mean, just start writing tests for your code. Unless you're going to get in trouble for doing that. Like, just make sure your tests that you're writing actually test the things that you're implementing. If you write a bunch of tests and the tests don't actually verify anything, then you're just going to make the project worse. What is your SaaS stack this 2025? Right now, I'm kind of vibing with TanStack Start and Drizzle still with Postgres. Tailwind, probably still deploying to Railway on a VPS just because I find it simpler. What's up, Igor? Belogurov. Belogurov. Igor Belogurov. Welcome. We got another member here. By the way, if you guys want to become a YouTube member, it's like $3. It helps me out. You don't get anything special for it other than your name gets colored, which maybe that's special. Like that could be a selling point for some people. So if you guys want to become a member and just show your support, I'd appreciate it. Even in freelancing, it's more nuances than just coding. Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of the time in freelancing, you spend like emailing a client back and forth, like an email chain 30 or 40 long. And you're like, okay, I'm wasting so much time sending emails. Now I got to jump into a meeting, and then you have a 30-minute meeting about something. You know, there's like a lot more stuff that goes into freelancing and coding than just like cranking out code. How do you maintain to be good/expert developer? How do you maintain? I guess just keep learning stuff. That's the only way you can maintain it. Hypothetical question. Say you would be building an API. What type of API would it be? REST, gRPC, GraphQL? I think it depends on your project needs. REST API is probably the most like universal. GraphQL is pretty good from what I hear. If you have like a separate backend team from a front-end team, gRPC if you want like performance. But I think you'd have to look at your project requirements and your company setup to figure out which one would be the best approach. I think REST is probably still like a standard. So I'd probably pick REST, honestly, without knowing much information about what you're asking, like what your project is. I'd probably just do REST. What technical skills should a senior software engineer have? What is the complexity of a project a senior was supposed to complete in his career before? I don't know. There's no like hard line that tells you that you're a senior engineer, you know? I think if you're the person that people go to get answers answered, like if people have questions, they come to you, and then like there's this complex problem and they come to you to solve it, that's when you're like, okay, I think I might be a senior because everyone seems to come to me to ask me questions. But I mean, I would say like if you want like some like hard, like a checklist, I mean, it's probably like deploying systems to production for, you know, X amount of years, being on calls for critical errors and stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that though, but being able to solve every problem yourself without having to like reach out to others, being able to write well-organized, maintainable code, being able to document your code very well. And like, it's not something you have to remind yourself to do. It's just like second nature. I wrote some code. Okay, now it's time to write my test. Okay, now it's time to write my documentation. Okay, now it's time to like update my Jira tickets or my whatever tickets you're using and like let the team know and get that all deployed out. Oh, I'm changing some code. I noticed that's pretty ugly. Let me just go ahead and refactor that real quick. It's like a mindset of like you're always constantly trying to improve the code that you're writing, the code that you're touching, the processes that you're working with, trying to help other people on the team and keep them up to speed with like, you know, bringing everyone up to speed with what we're doing on the project and stuff. Sometimes I feel like I just ramble. Like I just say stuff to make myself sound smart, but I don't know if my advice is helping you all. How can you stand out? What technical skills would make me stand out in 2025? Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know. I think also being a senior is like, it's not about how many years you've been in the industry, but it's like how, like, I guarantee you there's people who have been in the industry for like 2 or 3 years and they're probably more senior than I am. Right. So it's not just about like years in the industry, but it's about like what problems have you tackled? Oh wow, that's a long time to be a member. Well, I appreciate your support, Igor. The Peter Levels game is making me feel I should pivot towards learning marketing rather than learning more technical skills. Yeah, I mean, I would say marketing is half of it. If you want to get into like building SaaS applications, like you're going to have to market it, right? But I mean, there's nothing saying that you can't do both. I think if you looked at his applications, like, are they technically that challenging? I don't think so. It's like a couple of PHP pages. But he has such a huge following, almost like a cult following, that anything he publishes, people are going to go and just like spend $20 buying his thing just to try it out. What do you think of traditional companies where front end is underappreciated, where complex work is just often dismissed as it's just a button? Um, I guess I would say for a quote unquote traditional company that thinks like that, there will be other products and companies that come out there and realize that front end should have like a really good design to it. You should have user experience building out that front end to make it look nice and understanding how a user interacts with it. And then it's more than just a button. It's about where do you place that button? What's the padding size of that button to make it, to reduce the amount of misclicks? What's the rounding, the border, the whatever to make it look nice and appealing? Because it's a very competitive industry, right? There's 1,000 other products that do the same thing. And if you don't actually care about more than, oh, it's just a button, just make it work, someone's going to look at another product that's in the same market space as what you're building and choose the other one because it looks nicer and it feels nicer and it's arranged nicer. So it's not just a button. I don't know how you'd make them think. I guess it also depends. If you're building like internal tooling for the company that like only a subset of the employees at the company internally get to see and play with, then yeah, it's just a button. Who cares? If you click it, make sure it works every time. But if it's a public facing button, then there's a lot more that goes into it. Which one is more difficult, front end or back end engineering? They're both difficult. They're both difficult and they're both easy. I don't know how to say that. Like everything's difficult until you learn it, right? And then you realize that it's all pretty easy. Are there people who aren't suitable for working as a web developer? I don't think so. I mean, if you know how to code and you're like a visual person, I guess if you're not really big into visual styling and stuff, then maybe being a front end engineer is not gonna be fun. Does web dev pay well? Yes, I would say so. I think every software engineering job pays well. Go is the best lang for server. I mean, I like it. I don't know if it's the best, but I like it. It's performant. It's simple. And if you ask me, if you ask me to build out like a REST API and that's all I had to worry about is a REST API, I'd probably pick Go. It's super easy to build and bundle and deploy. Like it just generates a single binary and you run that on your machine. Like it's super easy for deployment. But Cursor Team said that they spent $0 on marketing. Yeah, well, I think they made a product that's so like it markets itself. Right? Sometimes when you make a product, you get lucky and it just markets itself. But like I'm guessing they just they probably got promotion because of just going viral, like organic sharing on social media. Like I remember posting some stuff on X where I made like a clip of Cursor making a page responsive, and I got like 1 million views or something, or like 400,000 views. It's stuff like that, you know, when the product sells itself, like you don't have to spend much time on marketing. You're moving beyond JavaScript and choosing a framework purely based on its merits without considering trends, job market demands, or popular opinion. Which one would you pick? I would pick a language that's type safe. Honestly, I'd probably pick Go. Let's be honest. I pick Go. But when it comes to the front end, like that's where you always come back to the JavaScript, because if you want to build a UI, like I haven't tried some of these other like front end related frameworks that are built into like I know Rust has like an equivalent of like building out front end templating for the web browser. But I feel like they all end up coming back. If you're going to be web dev, it comes back to like JavaScript, because you need JavaScript to build the interactive UIs, right? Do you have projects in mind for to increase fun, or did you have a project which turns out as a fun project? I mean, that game I was working on was pretty fun. I haven't played with Rust. I don't know. What's your opinion on vibe coding? I'll have to make a video about this because I need to do more research about it. But I think just letting AI code everything for you, I don't think it's that good yet that we can do that. Thoughts on TanStack Start? I think it's really good. Igor says, Cody, I have a question about subscription validation in NextAuth app. I'm using NextAuth with JWT session, not database. I'm storing the subscription expiration date in that token. Okay. That can be changed remotely, right? What do you mean remotely? You can't change the token because the token's signed. It's cryptographically signed, which means that if someone were to change it remotely, your backend would say that, hey, there's something wrong with this verification of the token, and then it would throw an exception. You can't change the token. Should I use NextAuth callbacks like JWT where refresh the subscription? Yeah, I think just refreshing the token and putting the new expiration date on that token would be fine. Personally, the way I do it is if you, I don't even put the subscription information on the token. Like I think what you're adding is like a premature optimization. Honestly, you just need to, on any API endpoint that is like authenticated and requires like a premium membership or subscription, just check it. Get the token, have a function, is subscription expired? If so, throw an exception and add that as like a middleware on your endpoints. And then do some measurement. How long does it take to actually check this? If we're talking like a millisecond, I would just do it on the back end. Like just do it, wrap all your API endpoints, or wrap, you know what I'm saying? Like do some actual like testing. How long does it take to check a user to see if their subscription is expired or not? If it's like a second to do that, then yeah, you should probably put it in the token. If it's like a millisecond or 5 milliseconds, just do it on your backend API calls, because it's probably just a database lookup, right? Which should be pretty fast because your API should be running co-located to your database. So if you're looking like longer than 10 milliseconds, I think there's something wrong with your setup. Have I tried AppWrite? I have not yet. I have not tried it. How did you get better at web dev? Honestly, I code a lot. I just code a bunch. That's how I get good. Which developers are most needed 5 years from now, like web dev or mobile or AI? I think they're all needed. I don't foresee any of those, like web developers, like people still need websites. Mobile, there's some applications that just work better on a mobile device, like social media platforms, games, personal tracking apps. Like you'd probably want a native mobile app instead of a website. Okay, other websites, for example, like a stock trading app. Do you want to trade stocks on your phone if you're doing day trading? You could, but you probably want something that's like a full screen monitor to be able to see the graphs and the analytics and the charts. So you still need web development. And then AI engineering is very niche. I mean, that's like, you probably need to go to college and be a PhD student and niche down into AI, machine learning, if you want to get into that industry. I haven't tried Payload CMS. In 8N, I have not tried that. Do you use a lot of design patterns in your code? Not really. Design patterns are typically for like object-oriented programming. Like there's sometimes I'll do like decorators or like factory functions and stuff. How do you deal with background jobs on a per user basis in a cost-effective way? And each user wants to set up a reminder at their own time. Depends on what the period or the interval is for that reminder. Is the lowest resolution like a minute or like a quarter of an hour, like every 15 minutes? Because you could just have like a background process that, you know, does like a database query and finds all the intervals or something, or like finds when it needs to send out those reminders. And this could just run on your Next.js service as like a background process. That might be the easiest approach, honestly. Okay, I'll be honest, I'm running out of steam on this stream. I'm getting tired. My voice is going out, so thank you for joining, y'all. I'm going to actually drop. Hopefully I answer your question. If I missed some of your questions, I apologize. There are just too many questions for me to answer, and I'm slow at answering these questions. Yeah, so I'll try to stream again. I'm going to try to get back into streaming and stuff and get more serious about my YouTube channel. Just trying to fight some burnout, but just a phase. All right, later on.